Hey there, how are you doing? You're welcome once again to my weekly data demystification series, the place where we explore the minds in the data management profession and try to simplify some of the complex terms in the field. Today, I bring you another fascinating topic, a subject that personally I am very passionate about. And I'm intrigued by this because at the end of the day, what is most important after carrying out all the technical stuff is to be able to move our stakeholders to act. It is not enough to be technically sound if we cannot present our work in the most captivating way. And so, my topic for today is the act of using data to tell story. So, just to give some context, storytelling with data is simply where charts and numbers integrate and are able to transform into narratives that motivates action. Let's understand the true power of narrative before we explore the act of storytelling. Think about a society or even situation in which information isn't merely stored in spreadsheet, but also comes to life in the form of stories. What that suggests is that data isn't just statistics. When we are able to detail it into powerful narratives, it also serves as a foundation of transformational stories. For professionals whose work demand analyzing data or maybe generating insights and presenting their findings, one of the very important things to bear in mind is that it is incredibly crucial to understand or be able to profile the audience in order to craft a powerful data story. The only way that we can connect with the audience for the information that we share to resonate is to know their preference. For example, we need to be able to tell whether they are decision makers looking for knowledge, or maybe whether they are professionals seeking solutions, or even maybe they are just people or business units trying to make some decisions. It is only when the story is tailored that we can get the people to believe in us and ultimately to be charmed. And for them to be assured also that we know what we are doing. Think about this. It is a mismatch to think that just because our data or our findings have some very rich customer information, that someone in maybe an IT unit whose job is to support the operational softwares and maybe the hardwares will be interested in that part of the business. That customer information may work well if we are talking to people in the marketing or even maybe the sales unit or even maybe customer care. So we need to properly profile our audience. And so once we are able to do that, another thing that is extremely important is the quality of our data. Because we know that garbage in is garbage out, making sure that we have our data in the most accurate format is extremely important. The moment that our audience can sense that there is something inaccurate with the numbers that we share, it does not matter how much effort we have put into the work. We completely lose them at that point, and it's very hard to regain their trust from there on. The data must be reliable. Our data must also be very relevant and also very impactful. We can think of it as assembling a team of heroes for our story, where each accurate data point plays a vital role. So, now I would like to talk about how we even structure our work or our story or even our findings. How we structure our story will determine the level of engagement that we receive from the audience. if it is all mumbled together or there is no logic in the connections, then we may not get the level of attention we deserve from our audience. My suggestion is to follow a 3-act structure, of which one of them is to set the stage by preparing the audience on what to expect. We can achieve this by creating some kind of overview or even maybe stating the end from the beginning. Once we are able to establish this, we can then go into the nitty-gritty of the story by narrating the details or stating the connections or even creating focus areas in the crowd of information. At the end, we need to be able to reveal solutions or make recommendations that our audience can go by and go act on. This structure guides the audience through the journey and allows them to appreciate the full context of the work that we have done. That said, the tools that we use to establish this structure is another very, very important thing. Our tools must be one that can make our story vibrant. Tools such as visuals, which can be in form of charts or even maybe maps or even infographics. These things can help us to transform complex data into visual narration, making the information more accessible and memorable. We also need to make sure that we choose the right tool to pass the message. For example, we can be sharing information in chats, but we should remember or we should know that different chats are reserved for specific type of information. A charter plot, for example, will do well if what we are trying to create is the relationship between variables. A map may do well or go well when we are talking about regions or maybe states or even countries. Histogram is another example. If what we are trying to present is distribution of variable, histogram is another chart that we can use in that scenario. A waterfall chart will do justice when it shows a running total as values. When it shows a running total as values, and it will always change when we add or subtract from the total value, and so on. There's so many of them like that. Images and metaphor can also be another go-to because they add to the story. Imagine, for example, your findings from data shows that there is a high level of poverty rate in a certain community. And in your presentation, you creatively include the lifestyle of the women and children of that community through images. Those images will deeply drive home the message, and your audience will be able to contextualize your data or the numbers you present. Data without context is less insightful, and that's the honest truth. We as storytellers must provide the missing pieces in terms of the context and the meaning, connecting dots to creating a complete picture. We also need to be able to capture our audience attention by crafting compelling headlines, using real-life tales, and infusing a sense of urgency to make our data story irresistible. This is the skill that every data storyteller must have. I'll give another scenario. For example, if we are presenting data on significant change, instead of saying something like change increased by maybe 20%, we can craft the narrative that sounds something like our journey took a leap, surging to new heights with a remarkable 20% increase. This statement is more than just number. It is a story of progress. We need to master the techniques to elevate our storytelling, Techniques like data-driven personas, where we create relatable characters from our data. This can add depth and resonance to the message. So, I don't intend to spend more than 10 minutes here today, so I believe I can conclude from this point on. And so, to conclude my work here today, I would like to remind us that data may be the base or the foundation for insight, but the power really lies in articulating the narrative. Being able to harness the power of narrative in a way that captures the psychology of the audience is what captivates, or even inform, or even can inspire to action. So, thank you for joining us on this episode. I hope that you were able to pick up one or two lessons. You can look forward to another of our series next week. And so until our next adventure, please keep weaving data narratives that inspire, and may your stories create the positive change in your journey, in your community, or your work. Stay tuned for a new topic in our next episode. Bye for now. Thank you.